Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to our release kickoff for Milestone 17.0. My name is Hillary Benson, and I'm the product leader here at GitLab for our Sec and Data Science sections, and I'll be your host for today's live stream. I'm also happy to introduce the other product leaders joining me to talk about the 17.0 milestone today. So in the order they'll be presenting, we have Sam Kerr, Group Product Manager, who will provide updates for the Dev section. Sarah Waldner, Director PM, will provide updates for the Sec section. Jackie Porter, Director PM, will provide updates for CI and CD. Josh Lambert, Director PM, will provide updates for the core platform section. And Taylor McCaslin, Group Manager, Product, will provide updates for data science section. So as part of today's chat about our next release, I want to focus on our fiscal year 25 product investment themes. And so I'll walk you through a little bit of what those are all about. So our 4 themes this year are enable AI ML efficiencies across DevSecOps. So that's all about leveraging generative AI to remove friction and eliminate rote work throughout your entire DevOps process. Our second theme is to drive use case adoption to fully realize the value of the GitLab platform. That's all about making it easy to get started and to integrate the core capabilities within our CI/CD and security and compliance portfolio into your processes as a user of GitLab. Our third theme is around differentiating on DevSecOps platforms. So that is all about doubling down on the things that make the GitLab platform unique and continuing to invest in our planning capabilities, metrics and reporting, and introducing new source code management capabilities into the product as well. And then finally, our fourth theme is about strengthening our SaaS deployments and capabilities. That aims to enable more organizations to carry out their digital transformation initiatives without having to self-host their own DevSecOps platform. So that means things like investing in scalability and reliability of our SaaS offerings, and then also investing in parity across all of our platform deployment options. So those are our themes for this year. Real quick before I hand it over to Sam, I do have to quickly preface today's call with our forward-looking statement disclosure, so bear with me for a second. On this live stream, we'll be discussing our roadmap, which includes upcoming features and functionality. It's important to note that the information provided is for informational purposes only. Please don't rely on it for planning or purchasing decisions. We plan very ambitiously here at GitLab, and all the details on this live stream are subject to change. The timing of product features and functionality remain at the sole discretion of GitLab. And with that, I will hand it over to Sam Kerr to kick us off.
Thanks, Hillary. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all today. I'm Sam Kerr. I'm the Group Product Manager for the Monitor stage. I'm going to be walking you all through what we are going to be focusing on in the dev and the analytics section. So the majority of the things I'm going to talk about fit in with our drive use case adoption to fully realize value, as well as differentiate on DevSecOps platform investment themes that Hillary just talked about. So with that, let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll jump right in. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about that the knowledge group is going to be focusing on 17.0 is allowing you to do multiple deployments with GitLab Pages. Currently, you can only do a single deployment with GitLab Pages right now, and this really makes it hard for our users to try new ideas on their site without making changes to the only version of that site. So with multiple deployments, they'll be able to have different deployments that they can make changes to before deciding it's exactly what you want, and then moving it over to that single production or other site that you have deployed. We're also going to be working on allowing GitLab Pages to function without the need for DNS wildcarding. We released this in an experimental capacity previously. We got a lot of great feedback. And so we're going to continue working on and refining this capability to take it to beta and eventually to GA status. The knowledge group is also working on coupling wiki page slugs, file name, and title. And the reason we're doing this is because today we're conflating all of these things together. You pick a title and then a slug and the file name are generated from it. But this can cause a number of different issues that we've had feedback on. So we're going to be decoupling those, which is going to allow you to create individual files locally, push them to the app, and not need to tie the page slug, the file name, and the title all together. Moving on to our product planning group. We're going to be adding additional clarity to the issue board around milestones and iterations for specific issues. You can see in the diagram here, the milestone as well as the iteration dates are called out very clearly on the board. This makes it very easy for you to quickly see the progress of your projects and products and to be more efficient when you're doing your product planning. We're also going to now be showing you a warning when you're closing items that are blocked by other items. This is to give you increased visibility on what your actions are going to do. And if that's intentional, you can continue, or if you need to make some changes before you do that, you can also do that. We're also going to be changing the minimum user role required for adding links between issues and work items as related items to be guests. And so this is going to allow more people to contribute and increase all of the relationships and the metadata with your different issues while still allowing you to maintain good access control on those projects in your group. We're also going to be changing the limit for direct children for legacy epics to be 100. This is going to help you ensure that you have clean epic hierarchies to allow you to do planning more easily. And it's also going to allow GitLab to have better performance in these cases. Moving on to our editor extensions group, we're going to be working on our MVC for providing GitLab Duo Chat in JetBrains IDEs. And we're going to be continuing to refine the experience that we've already been working on in that area. We're also going to be working on bringing GitLab Duo Chat to Visual Studio. We know this is an area a lot of our users are really excited about, and so we're going to be working towards bringing it to an experimental and a beta status as part of 17.0. And finally, but not last, for the editor extensions group, we're going to be working on providing a better user experience around authentication in VS Code with respect to the GitLab Duo plugins. We got a lot of really great feedback around how we could have clearer messages around our authentication and that initial setup experience. So we're going to be working on that to make it much more smooth. Moving on to the product analytics group, we're going to be working on our MVC for funnel analysis visualization. Funnel analysis is a really powerful tool that you can use to understand how users interact with different parts of your products, where they go next and where they drop off, which gives you the visibility you need to make those data-driven decisions on how to optimize and improve your own product. Product analytics is also going to be working on polishing our onboarding experience as well as the custom visualization designer experience. We released the MVC of product analytics in GitLab 16.11, and we're going to continue doing some of the refinements that we wanted to do on that MVC as part of the 17.0 release. Product analytics will also be working on adding support for querying custom event properties. Right now, we support querying on custom events names only, which is really good because it allows you to add events that are specific to your application, but without being able to search and query on those properties, it limits the type of metadata that you can add. So by being able to search on those properties, that's going to allow you to get much more fine-grained information on where your product is being used and how, and doing searching on it. For our observability group, we're going to be working on taking our log feature to beta as part of the 17.0 release. We previously released this in experimental version, which allows you to collect system and application logs from OpenTelemetry compatible sources. With the beta, we're going to be working on advanced log querying, making it easier to troubleshoot some of the issues that users might encounter, as well as doing more advanced searching and filtering. And last but certainly not least, the observability group, we're going to be working on our experimental release for Cloud Connector integration with observability. And what this is going to allow our self-managed customers to do is utilize all of the observability features with the data being hosted remotely on GitLab.com, which connects to their self-managed instance. This is going to remove the need for our users to manage their own ClickHouse cluster and simplify those infrastructure requirements. We're really excited for 17.0, and that's what's coming for the dev and analytics section. And with that, I'll hand it over to Sarah.
Thanks, Sam. Get my screen shared here. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Wallner, Director of Product for the Secure stage. And I'll be covering kickoff highlights for 17.0 for the SEC section. SEC section is comprised of the secure and govern stage. Our kickoff items for the 17.0 milestone roll up into the investment themes of drive use case adoption to fully realize value and differentiate on our power as a DevSecOps platform. Let's dive in. Kicking off with our authentication group, they will be working to clear the final blocker for disabling password authentication for enterprise users. Today, even if customers use SSO, but it is not enforced, there is the possibility that someone can sign in using username and password. Eliminating the set of credentials reduces security risk and ensures enterprise users have a controlled login experience. From our dynamic analysis group, We will be adding support for customers who have servers that only support TLS 1.3 to enable them to use our API security offering. TLS 1.3 has been available since 2018 and is becoming more widely adopted. This has been an adoption barrier for API security for many customers previously, and we'll be removing that in 17.0. From our composition analysis group, they will be adding support for Android dependency scanning, a highly requested feature. This follows our expand scanner coverage roadmap theme for the secure stage. This will enable more users to leverage dependency scanning to secure their applications from open source risk. Supporting Android scanning and dependency scanning will also move GitLab one step closer to closing the gap between us and our SCA industry peers. Also from our composition analysis group, they will kick off work for continuous vulnerability scanning for images stored in the GitLab container registry. Developers and security teams need to know the current security status of images stored in their registries. When the advisory database is updated, they need to know when new vulnerabilities apply to existing images. Similarly, they also need to know when new vulnerabilities are introduced when a new image is pushed into the registry. This needs to happen without requiring users to manually run or schedule a CI pipeline. From our compliance group, they'll be working to release an MVC of an audit event connector integration, which will enable users to send audit event data from GitLab to Snowflake using a Snowflake Marketplace app. Currently, there is no public API to stream audit events to Snowflake. All streaming is done through a push-based agent and Snowpipe, and this will streamline that workflow for them. And finally, from compliance, as part of the first stage of the compliance pipeline to security policy migration, this group will also be providing a notification and workflow that will push users to migrate their compliance pipelines to security policies. This is a multi-phase effort that will ultimately unify the experience around our powerful security policies. Moving on to the static analysis group. In 17.0, they will be focused on completing the transition of multiple language-specific scanners to SemGrep-based scanning with GitLab managed rules and additional proprietary technology. This is the final phase of consolidation to SemGrep. This significantly improves the customer experience in both operation and setup, as SemGrep is a language-agnostic scanner that automatically detects the language in a repository and properly applies the correct scanning technology and rules. As part of this work, they will also be creating a pathway for a data migration to resolve remaining findings from language-specific scanners. This prevents there existing a number of abandoned vulnerabilities in the no longer detected state, as we've disabled those language-specific scanners. The Security Policies Group is working towards the generally available release of the new pipeline execution policy type, which will allow for enforcement of custom CI jobs, scripts, or other instructions across all projects scoped by the policy. This GA feature will iterate on the existing experimental action available today within the scan execution policy type and introduce a new policy type for this capability. And second, from the Security Policies Group, they will also be introducing a new feature to toggle the flexibility of a policy to either fail open or fail closed, ensuring that policies enforce appropriately based on the risk profile of a customer and a particular policy. By failing open, policies can also be less restrictive when rolling out new policies, which can then be toggled on to enforce a more strictly enforced policy after rollout. And finally, from the authorization group, they will be adding another 5 permissions to custom roles, further expanding coverage of that feature. In addition to these permissions, they will be working to build a UI to help customers understand what they can or cannot do by viewing permissions attached to a custom role. This will minimize troubleshooting on what the user has access to. That wraps up for the sec section. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass to Jackie Porter, Director of Product for our CI section.
So much, Sarah. I don't like following you. You always are a hard act to follow, but thank you so much. As Sarah said, my name's Jackie Porter. I am the Director of Product over CI section. I'm kicking off for CI/CD for 17.0. As a reminder, these sections support developers and platform engineers as they work to complete their automation and configuration and operation tasks in GitLab after they submit their code. The 3 stages in this group are deploy, verify, and package. Going into this major release, all of our teams are going to be working on breaking changes and prepping for all things that come out of this type of 17.0 work. But outside of this, we're also focused on making your lives better with GitLab. The first theme that we are all working on is driving use case adoption to fully realize value. We have several teams working on this. First up, our package group is going to be delivering both displaying publish date for container registry images and also sorting by date. This will make it even easier for you to find the right image and determine what that container image is by the publish date, making it even easier to find what you're looking for faster. The pipeline execution team is also going to be supporting common pain points related to using GitLab CI with external CI tools, whether you're onboarding from another tool or you have an ecosystem of tools you're using GitLab CI to plug into. We want to make job timeouts more reliable, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in 17.0 with this particular issue. Another feature that we're going to be delivering in this theme is something the runner group has heard time and time again, which is that users want to be able to easily discern the duration of a discrete step within a GitLab CI pipeline to debug failures and even flaky tests or jobs. So in this release, they'll be adding a timestamp to that CI job log to make that particular step super efficient. We're very excited for this feature. It's been a highly requested, demanded item. Another great improvement for job logs is coming from our pipeline security team. They're going to be doing some research and some design around creating a policy for job logs. So a large pain point that our customers have shared with us in recent years and even months more recently is that our policies don't clean up job log artifacts. So they want ways to be able to clean up automatically job log artifacts and retention. So that's what the pipeline security team is going to be working on in 17.0. How do we have policies that clean up those job log artifacts? Lastly, in this theme, we're super excited to share that finally CI/CD catalog components and inputs are going to be going to GA in 17.0. So this wonderful feature set that you see here live on production will finally be GA in 17.0. That includes components, inputs, and the catalog. Very excited for the pipeline authoring team and all the contributors that have been adding components to the catalog throughout our beta period. Last up from this group is our theme around strengthen our SaaS deployments and capabilities. Our hosted runner team is hard at work to support users where they're at specifically with hosted runners. First up, they're going to be expanding machine types like running ARM native builds by supporting ARM hosted runners for GitLab.com. We're also going to be supporting running heavier macOS workloads by introducing a macOS large M2 runner type. This is not a comprehensive list of all the wonderful things that the team is working on in 17.0, but definitely take a moment to view kickoff videos and direction pages if you're interested in learning more. That wraps it up for the CI/CD sections. I'll pass it off to Josh Lambert, who is the Director of Product over Core Platforms.
Thanks, Jackie. And as Jackie mentioned, I'll be talking about the core platform section and the work that we are doing. Similarly to Jackie, this is the highlights of the work that we have going on in this release, not the entire sum of our work. So please do check out our kickoff videos and our planning issues if you'd like to learn more about the work the groups are doing. But let's jump into the highlights. One thing I want to call out at the top of this is that this is a bit of an unusual release with 17.0. And so we do have some more maintenance work than usual going on as part of preparation for a major release. So you'll see a bit of that woven throughout our work here. And then we'll usually go back to more of our typical long-term roadmap planning moving forward. But with that, let's jump into things first with our foundations team, who is continuing the work of design tokens and learning to what it will take to manage these at scale within the GitLab platform and GitLab development process. If you're curious what design tokens are, these are tokens that largely allow us to have a signal to the truth and reference for how things like color, typography, and spacing are used across our platform. And this is important for making our platform feel consistent and for us to be able to make updates that roll across the platform and do things like themes in a reliable way. And so to support that effort, we are working through a number of areas around design tokens like naming, governance, how they get created, how they get removed, how they get updated, and things like that. We're also working to move away from our custom CSS utils library over to Tailwind and standardize this also as part of the migration over to design tokens. So that's a quick summary of the highlight for our foundations group. We can move over to our import group, who is continuing to work towards improving our direct transfer functionality. Direct transfer is what allows you to stream content from one GitLab instance to another GitLab instance at the group and or project level. And this allows you to, for example, move content from one place to another or from a self-managed instance up to gitlab.com. And what we're doing here is improving the contribution mapping process. And so if there is any kind of overlap in usernames, we have a graceful process for managing that along with the import process between the two instances. Moving over towards our Geo group, we are continuing to make progress on our unified backup process. The main goal for this is to have a standardized backup interface that we can use across all of our deployment types, as well as also utilized in some of our SaaS services that we provide ourselves. And so we have largely finished the 1K reference architecture work with the omnibus process. And so we are continuing to overall move towards GA and also wrap up the last item here for the MVC. And the GA, we're looking more towards looking at the cloud native deployments of GitLab and supporting those with the backup CLI as well. Moving over towards our search group, we are working towards our GA of our improved code search service. And along with that, we are working towards improving some of our UX in this kind of pre-GA timeframe. One of the improvements we're making in this release of many is improved support on the backend side at first for handling multiple matches in a single file. So if you're searching for something and it comes up multiple times in a file, right now with the new service, you get multiple entries, and we're looking to make that an improved experience and consolidating it to make it clearer and easier to understand what is happening where the results are actually found. Moving over towards our tenant scale group, we are continuing to work on building out our organizations functionality. This will allow you to easily have further isolation between the different tenants on a multi-tenant system like gitlab.com, as well as also a better understanding of where you are in the product, with what group you're in and what kind of area you are in gitlab.com. And so we are working towards adding support for adding and removing projects and groups from organizations, as well as also viewing the activity of what's happening in an organization as well. Moving over towards our Giddily group, we are working to improve our support for Kubernetes, running Giddily on Kubernetes. And so we're doing some experimentation and continuing this. And as we get better understanding of what we actually need to fix to get this to work reliably, we have a lot of demand for this. A lot of folks want to run Giddily and Kubernetes, including ourselves. And so we are looking forward to better understanding this and then making sure we can make any changes required to run this in a very stable and reliable way. We're also working towards 2 deprecation items for Giddily, which announce these. We're deprecating 2 aspects of config, git config here, as well as also the option for multiple duplicate storages. These will cause errors if you upgrade to 17.0, so please be aware of them. And if not, you will find an error message friendly printed in your upgrade console. Over on the tenant scale team, we are also working on the routing service for cells. Cells will allow us to have a single unified kind of domain like gitlab.com with multiple instances transparent in the background. And the routing layer is important for us to make sure we route requests to the right cell to handle them. And then the last couple items here, we are working towards our deprecating support for PG14. If you're curious, we have an overall plan for how we manage these releases as well, because we're moving to PG16 in the near future. And if we don't kind of keep up to speed, I'm sorry, we're replicating support for PG13. in this release. And so if you're curious on how or we treat these, you can look at our documentation, but we try and make sure we generally move one release a year to make sure we do not fall behind on our Postgres versions. And the last thing we're doing on our Cloud Connector team is we are working to overall decrease latency for code suggestions when running it through the Cloud Connector. And we're doing this in a few different ways. We're looking at handing off more directly after authentication to the AI gateways, as well as a few other options as well. Overall, again, the goal here is to decrease the overall latency for these services. And then finally, for distribution, we are working to support Kubernetes 1.2.9, and we expect to wrap this up this release as we started it last release as well. So overall, that's the summary for our core platform. And I'd like to hand it over to Taylor to take us through the AI and ML features.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor McCassin. I'm a group manager of product for the data science section. Everything we work on supports the theme of enabling AI ML efficiencies across DevSecOps. Let's start with the AI powered stage, which helps build generative AI into GitLab Duo, helping customers increase efficiencies and productivity. We'll start with the Duo chat group. If you didn't know, today we GA'd Duo chat. We've been iterating very quickly on this, so if you have tried it previously or maybe haven't tried it, give it a shot. In that theme of iteration, we are continuing to iterate on Duo Chat. We're working to bring support for GitLab documentation-based questions to self-managed instances. We're also working to update Duo Chat to Claude 3 now that we have evaluated those models and have found that they have high quality. We also are improving controls for how customers interact with our AI features. This moves us into the AI framework team. We're creating a new capability that allows customers to essentially create an allow list of projects. So we have a feature that allows you to disable AI on the instance, the group, or subgroup level. You can now create allowed list projects to give you more flexibility about how you control that. Additionally, we have about 15 features across Duo. We're working to rapidly mature all of these capabilities this release. Many of these we are looking forward to bringing both to self-managed and to GA soon. Moving to the AI model validation team, we're developing new data sets to support both the follow-up questions from Duo Chat and increase existing questions for chat. We're also working on improving our data set for explain and resolve vulnerabilities. So that will increase the quality of chat and the explain and resolve vulnerabilities features. Next, our custom models team, which is a new team, is focused on improving the personalization of Duo features as well as enabling alternative models to Duo. They're working on a MVP for custom models, for self-hosted models. They're going to allow customers support self-deployments of Mistral as a backend for Duo features. This will be a limited access program initially, but we're really excited about allowing customers to have a very private AI solution. Finally, moving to our model ops stage, which helps customers build AI ML into your software. The ML ops team is focused on improving the functional import UI for our model registry so that you can use the UI rather than using the ML Flow client, and then also manage the files that are part of a specific version of a model. Again, this works today on the API, but we're improving the UI for that. That is everything for the data science section. Back to Hillary.
Thanks, Taylor. Oh my gosh, there is so much great stuff going on this release. It's awesome. So I want to pull out a couple of the highlights, from bringing GitLab Duo Chat to JetBrains Visual Studio and improving our auth setup flow. That's amazing. Over in the sec section, coming to the closing stages of 2 long-running projects designed to simplify the use of our security and compliance features, with the first stage of compliance pipeline to security policy migration, and also finally completing our SEMGRUP-based scanning transition. Those are awesome. Bringing the CI/CD components catalog now to GA. That's great. Finishing up our unified backup MVC and working to decrease latency for services that support code suggestions functionality for our self-managed and dedicated customers. And then that Claude 3 migration and maturing our generative AI-based features across the entire platform. There's so much going on. All this is just a simple sample of everything that we're working on. So please make sure to check out the release kickoff page for a full list of everything that's going on this release. Also, please comment on our issues and engage with our team. We love to get your feedback and to hear from the community. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks for watching the 17.0 release kickoff, and have an awesome